how important is it for Luka to make a statement tonight against his former team that showed him the door?
Luka doesn't need to make a statement. They need to build on what they accomplished Saturday, because if they don't go ahead and take care of business, minus Anthony Davis, minus Lively, minus Gafford, that Saturday win doesn't mean a whole lot. What they need to do is build on what they did Saturday. They played well over the last 10 games. I think LeBron is averaging 29 points, almost 99 in his last 10 games. They're 8-2. Luka had his best game Saturday since he arrived in LA, but I think it's just important for those guys. Luka's going to be Luka. Luka is going to get his points because nobody has found an answer for him since he's been in the league. But I don't want him to put all that pressure on him and say, you need to make a statement. They know what they have in Luka. That's why they made the trade. Not everybody would be willing to make that trade, but that's Luka Doncic. 5-time All-NBA, one of the best players in basketball, and the second highest scoring average in playoff history. Luka doesn't need to make a statement. They need to make a statement and improve and build on what they accomplished and let this resonate throughout the Western Conference. Hey, Lakers with Luka and LeBron, they're legit. Them LL boys.
I completely disagree with you, Shannon. I think he has to make a statement tonight because of who it's against and what he is basically proclaiming they did to him, along with his daddy. When he was talking about, remember, when he departed from Dallas to Los Angeles, his father was on the record. They were shocked. They didn't see this coming. But most importantly, his own daddy spoke up about how, he didn't appreciate how his son's reputation was being sullied because they didn't just make a trade. It was the reasons behind it, Shannon. He was out of shape. He wasn't dedicated. He marched to his own tune. He had his own strength and conditioning team, his own trainers, all of this other stuff. I remember when we asked the Dallas Mavericks, when is he expected to return? And they gave the date, and they said, but in truth, we really, really don't know until his team informs us and stuff like that. They just felt like they were painting him as an individual who was out of control and difficult to manage. And when you take that into account and you witness the greatness that he's putting forth, 25 years of age, averaging 28 a game, averaged nearly 34 last year, went to a couple of Western Conference Finals, went to an NBA Finals, unquestioned greatness. No excuse to move somebody like this. They were saying, yes, there is. And you're going to see why when you get him. I think when somebody lets you go under those pretenses, under that condition, when you see them, there's a little something extra in your eyes. And the chip on your shoulder is a bit more significant. And you have to play like that. That's my personal opinion.
Luka Doncic, more than any other player in the league, runs a heat check the first trip up the floor. He's the only guy in the league that does that. Right out of layup lines, heat check, first trip, because that's the way he plays. I think he does that in this game, because that's what he normally does. Now, if he hits a couple of threes in the first few minutes and he gets to feeling it, and LeBron James probably knowing, because he's been through this exact moment, what this probably means to him, LeBron's going to now help him, and it may become more about Luka in this game where he puts a big number up. But first of all, this game could get out of hand with how shorthanded Dallas is. Who knows what the game's going to turn into. But here's what I really think. Luka doesn't really want it to be this game. He's going to pour the gasoline this game. He's going to light the match in April when they go to Dallas. And Anthony Davis is on the floor. And Nico Harrison is in the building. That's the night that Luka Doncic is going to want to go scorched earth and drop 50, 60, whatever it may be. And he's going to have intent to do it right away. I don't know that it's quite there in this game. A shorthanded Dallas team, it's not in Dallas. Yeah, he wants to have a good night, but right. I don't think, Stephen A., the message is as important. I do think there is a time to send it, and it's going to be in Dallas. So he can do it, look up at the owner's box, look over where the GM is sitting. Anthony Davis, maybe get him on a switch, try to buckle his ankles. That is going to be more important to Luka to send that message, like this is what you got rid of me for. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's going to be tonight.
Well, I would agree with you under normal circumstances, but this is the first time he's seeing them since it happened. Jason Kidd is going to be in the building. Nico Harrison is going to be in the building. He is traveling with the team. Dallas and its ownership, they're going to be in the building. Luka knows who they are. This is the first time you're going to see them since all of this happened. I understand if it wasn't, but this is the first time. And that's what I'm not saying. I'm not taking away any of those things that you're saying about what's going to happen when he gets to Dallas, because that's a different feel. But this is the initial feeling. And that's what I'm saying. He hasn't seen them, Shannon. Like literally, face to face. He has not seen him. He hasn't seen him standing on the court. He hasn't seen him sitting in the stands. He hasn't seen Jason Kidd. Obviously, and it's not Jason Kidd's decision. Of course, it's Nico and ownership. But the point is, this is his first time seeing it. And I think that when you see them and you look over at them, he ain't waiting until he gets to Dallas. I think he's going to come out there tonight and look to hurt people's feelings. Yes.
Stephen A., if you remember, when LeBron went back, where was his first game? It was in Cleveland. And the vitriol that he felt. Remember LeBron from Miami? And he went back to Cleveland the first time?
And what happened?
He did that number on him. He let him
And
know.
there you go.
But here's the thing, Steve.
Remember that?
But here's
Came
the
back
thing.
from 27
that was in
down.
Cleveland. Yes, that was in Cleveland. Now, when he goes back to Dallas, and all those fans, remember, Stephen A., they canceling their season tickets. They're having burial services for Luka and situation. Now he's in that building. And as Leg says, he comes down and takes a couple of heat check threes, and the building erupts. Can you imagine? He's going to get cheers every time he scores.
I agree.
They're going to boo their home team because Luka was their guy. They had just got another Dirk Nowitzki. That was the guy we're supposed to have in our folds, just like Dirk. Now, whether or not he wanted to play as long as Dirk, but he was supposed to be their Dirk Nowitzki, Stephen A.
Yeah, but
20 years. Luka was supposed to stay there 15.
But, Shannon, I'm not disagreeing with you or Legs. I'm simply saying I get what's going to happen when he gets to Dallas. I'm saying when you see them tonight for the first time, what you think, he going to wait? Yeah. He ain't going to wait.
You never know how a player is going to respond with all those emotions.
He going to give him a little triple-double, a little light triple-dub.
Like triple-dub.
Miss Triple-Dub
Yeah, a
showing
little
up
light
again?
triple-dub.
Yeah, Stephen A.'s looking. So, Stephen A., how important is it for Luka to win a title for the Lakers?
Well, it's everything, because it's the Los Angeles Lakers. This is what they do. They acquired Querim Abdul-Jabbar. They ultimately won 5 titles. They acquired Kobe Bryant. That was via trade, because remember, Charlotte originally drafted them. Jerry West pulled off that draft day magistry. I mean, the bottom line is he won 5 titles. You look at Pau Gasol. He helped give you 2. You look at Anthony Davis. He got you 1. The Lakers are accustomed to winning championships. There's only one franchise that has won more. It is the Boston Celtics. That's it. That's all we're talking about here. So when you come to the Los Angeles Lakers, that's tinsel town. It's title town. It's what their expectations are. It's a different standard wearing the purple and gold. Yeah. When you are a superstar, you don't matter unless you deliver that good. Could you imagine if LeBron James had never won a title in Los Angeles? After Kobe and Kareem and Magic and everybody else, but LeBron hadn't won one, it would be an entirely different legacy of his. But he delivered the goods. Now it's Luka's turn. Yeah, speaking of Hollywood, Shannon?
It doesn't matter how you get to the Lakers. You go back. It was Wilt that started it, won a championship. Kareem won a championship. Bob McAdoo won a championship. Shaquille O'Neal won a championship. Pau Gasol won a championship. LeBron James, Anthony Davis won a championship. If you are a great player and you come to the Los Angeles Lakers, it is a requirement. It is a requirement that you win a title. So absolutely. And as great as Luka is, because if you look at it, Wilt came on the tail end of his career. Bob McAdoo likewise. So in a situation like this, where you got a prime Luka, a championship is an absolute certain in order for him to be considered one of these Laker greats. Hopefully, it's multiple, because that is what the requirement is if you are a great player and you play for this franchise.
All right. I am so glad we asked this question.
Okay.
Because when this trade went down, the very first thing I said the next day, first of all, I personally think this trade is going to be talked about 50 years from now. That's what I believe. But only if Luka Doncic wins